Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of R&R. I'm Ray.
And I'm Ray.
And in this one, we are going to talk about stuff more serious. Ray has her little baggie of goodies.
It's the exact opposite of that. In fact, it has dead, decaying items inside of it.
I also have a medicine bag. It is at home. I have a bunch of things. I could probably post it to the Facebook. It's got...
We should probably do that, actually. Since she doesn't have all of her cool crap with her, we'll take, like, videos or pictures or post a TikTok of it or something.
Yeah.
Get it out there more.
We could talk about taxidermy and just all different little things that we know. I am more into the taxidermy side. I am more into the dead things side, and I love to know how things work.
I love skulls, bones, and fossils. I don't want to pick up dead things.
Gosh, what do I have at home? One thing that I strive for is a two-headed wet specimen animal. I want that so bad. And when we go up to Portland in a few weeks, there is a oddity shop that sells a lot of cool things. I don't know if they have any two-headed things right now.
We should definitely go there.
But yes, you will love it. Our friend, when I went up there with her, she also got something. She got an octopus. I have 2 bats. I have one framed. It's a rhinoplastis.
It's a bat.
Yeah, with the funny nose.
It looks super cool.
It's so cute. But then I also have one that is very small that is hanging, and you can pet it. I also have a wet specimen snapping turtle hatchling.
Which is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It didn't quite make it because most turtles don't. Like, their survival rate is so low.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a bunch of different things. I got a bunch of different skulls. I got a bunch of different skins of animals. Yeah, moths, bats, butterflies. I kind of have it all. Antlers. Gosh, I have so much now that I said that out loud.
I don't have a lot of things like that because I have 2 toddlers, so I can't.
I only have one child.
Yeah, he's a child.
He is not a toddler, he's a child. I did have a horseshoe crab. I did have a dead horseshoe crab, and
oh my god, I used to have so many of those when I was a kid.
No. You're probably thinking of like sand. I'm talking like whole horseshoe crab with like the pointed tail with the spike and everything.
I don't know the difference between crabs. I just know I had whole ass fucking crabs that I found at the beach.
I'm gonna help her. Hold on 1 second.
I don't care what kind of crab it is.
It's not a crab. It's called a horseshoe crab, but it's more of a. It's technically a fossil because it's older.
Ah, gotcha. That is a fossil. That is not a... Yeah, that's a fossil.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a fossil.
It lives, but
it's a fossil.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, they're around, but their blood is used to make medicine and stuff.
That's super cool. Never mind.
They're running out of more horseshoe crabs than they can get back, and they're not like trying to replenish them. So they're starting to slowly die off. But I had one, and my dog ate it. And the only reason I know that is because she's a pit boxer mix. And the only reason why I know that she ate it is because I couldn't find it, and the only thing I could find was the tail of it next to where she likes to lay down all the time. She ate the whole thing. The little pinchers on the inside, like most of the tail. I don't even know how she ate it.
Your dog is so stupid.
Be nice.
She's the next level stupid.
Be nice. She's really smart. She just really eats everything. She is really smart.
It's because she's a puppy.
Yeah. Well, when she was a puppy. She's smart now because she's getting older. So she's a lot easier to handle now.
Alright, so we're going to go into my medicine bag because there's a bit to unpack in it. And it's kind of hard to see from so far away, unfortunately.
It will be super hard.
But I can always post pictures of it. But this thing right here is wrapped up in a little red bag. And it's a squirrel skull that I found completely, perfectly bleached by the sun at a park when I was homeless. A lot of this I got when I was homeless because that's when
you find things best.
Yeah. That's when my journey began. And then I have a few other things, because power is held in anything that you find. Honestly, you can tell by holding it in your hand. But there's this.
Is it like that Marie Kondo thing where it's like, if it sparks joy, keep it?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. So I have like these random, you totally cannot see them, but I have these random little like things on here that are like pieces of earrings and stuff like that I found.
Yeah, it is super hard to see in the video.
That are super cool.
There you go, get up, show the viewers.
Okay. There's the skull. And then these are the things that I have on it. This thing right here is polished blue jasper. And I got it from one of my friends that I met when I was homeless. Super duper awesome guy. And he's actually on my Facebook still, which is amazing that I was able to keep that connection that long. But he sells like really cool knickknacks and things like that, and I got it from him. This bag is actually my like 3rd bag. There's 3 different levels inside of here.
What's in it?
So there's a ton of different things. This is my other bag, which doesn't have very much in it because you always build up on a medicine bag. So now that that's shown, I'm gonna come closer. Back over here. Okay. So there's a lot going on here. So this smaller bag is a bag that I found when I was homeless. I found it on the ground. Awesome, right? But anyway,
that looks like a Crown Royal bag.
It is.
That's like that.
It is. And I cut it. And actually, if I remember correctly, I didn't cut it. I took the inside of it. Yeah. I pushed it up like that. And then I put my hand in there and I twist tied it. But I have like 2 or 3 other bags inside of this that have already been full. And I've had to level up to another bag. So it has been like 7 years. So this bag has so many different things in it, I cannot even say that I remember. And you don't open medicine bags. So I'm not ever going to be opening it. But it has, I do remember a lot of things that I put in it. And you can kind of feel a few things. But it definitely has like, it has ashes in it from almost anything. I have ashes in it.
Like rocks?
There's rocks in it. There's stones. There's crystals. There's mullein in it. There's ashes from mullein. There's sage in it. There's ashes from sage.
Fabric or paper?
That's probably the inside of the bag. Oh no, it's probably the sage that was folded up. Because I had full leaves of sage that I folded inside of it.
Yeah, that's what that feels like, and I crushed it. I'm so sorry.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it gets crushed. It's okay. Now I have, I do a lot of things with ashes. I do a lot of work with them, especially when it comes to making runes and painting skulls. I'll get there. That's a whole story.
Okay.
But this bag has all those kinds of ashes in it. It's got different substances in it. I have pieces of psilocybin mushroom inside of it as well. I've got lots of really powerful things in here.
That bag now.
I have the wing of a blue jay that I found on the ground. So when I say there's rotting things in here, I mean it literally. There's a whole wing, the joint and all, the whole fucking shebang.
It doesn't smell bad.
Of course it doesn't smell bad. I mummified it first.
Okay.
Everything that I put in here was also smoked first. So I smoked it first in either sage or tobacco or possibly mullein, but that was a very short phase, so I'm not sure. But I even have dirt from certain areas that I've been to, not a lot, just like a little pinch or something. Sand from the beaches that I've been to, flowers that I found in different areas, because I've been all over the place while I was homeless. And so I got a lot of dope ass things in there. And then this bag itself was made from bear sinew, if I'm remembering correctly. So it's actually like real leather, and
it feels really nice.
And it was gifted to me by another person of like mind. And the things that it's stitched with is sinew, so it's intestine. But this, how much of the story do you want me to go into? The whole thing?
I can help you tell it.
Okay, so this little guy right here is a baby rabbit skull. And I painted it with ashes. And I put a rune on the top of it, but you can't see it in the bag. And she's actually the one who made the bag for me that it's in. And that is like a gigantically gross story, but we're gonna sit here and tell it anyway. Okay?
It's not gross.
It's a little gross.
Again,
Someone
taxidermy side, not taxidermy side. So my rabbit had babies on technically accident, but a lot of times their first litter won't make it. Hers did not. And she decided to harm them and or not feed them. So they did not make it. We tried to intervene as much as we could. There's only so much that you can do. So we decided on our good faith that we would take 2 because we struggled really hard with this. It was like a whole journey. We had already been through like a huge journey before this. Like, people are gonna hate us after we tell this story. But they had already passed away, and again,
and we bonded with them. We tried our best to feed them and nurture them and keep them warm.
Hold them. Oh my god.
And then it was like every time we looked back over, another one had died.
Yeah,
another one had died.
We tried really hard, and I think as anyone does, I know I've had a lot of death even as a young kid with animals, so I can handle it a bit better. Again,
it was pretty much my like second time in my whole life being around an animal that died.
My family tended to pick animals off the street and help animals, and a lot of times it would be cats that would have kittens, and we would try to nurture them to help, and sometimes they'd make it, sometimes they wouldn't. So I was well equipped, and again, I really like taxidermy, so...
She really had to push me into it. And it's something I don't know.
You really wanted it, though.
I did. I wanted the skull. I wanted to be able to have it for the rest of my life.
For how hard we tried. We needed something for our efforts, and...
It was very, very heartbreaking to do it, though. For me.
I see it a little differently. I feel that it's honoring the rabbit, but we did take it, and that's where the baby skulls are from. I have mine. It is wrapped in its mother's fur, because its mother died a few years later from a parasite that a lot of barn rabbits get, and she was a barn rabbit before I had her, so that also might be why her babies didn't make it. But yeah, so I had her fur, and I wrapped it. She also shed like crazy, so it wasn't hard to get. And mine is safely wrapped away in its mother.
And to put this into perspective too, how many years ago was this? This was, my oldest was a baby. So
no, this was before that, wasn't it? No, it was after.
No, because he was a baby.
Yeah.
So I think it was about, it had to have been about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
3 to 4 years, closer to 4. Closer to 4, because he was like a brand spanking new baby. So to put that into perspective even more, like this bag, you know, going on 7 years, this skull has been right here for 4 years. And you want to know where I keep this bag? This bag in my house stays in the same exact location no matter where I live. And that is
right by the door.
Right by my door. Because this is protection. I have specifically put in intentions to this whole medicine bag thing I've got going on. This is protection. And I am 100% steadfast in the fact that I don't have anything shitty like that in my house. And anytime my kids are like, "Oh, Mom, there's a ghost," I'm like, "Yeah, I know you're kidding, but there's no ghosts here. Because I got that thing. And if there were ghosts, I know how to take care of them. So don't be afraid." So
you have a whole big lavender plant outside.
Yep, I have a lavender plant growing outside. I did have a sage plant for a really long time, and I harvested it from it for like 2 years. And it eventually did die. I would like to say,
looking at our friendship and our differences, but also our similarities, I feel like you're very much during life. You very much pick up things during life. You very much are like...
Oh yeah.
You very much are in, I don't want to say like the middle. I don't know how to explain it other than everything is precious to you, and you know how to do protections, and you're very much more knowledgeable about energies and things like that versus me, who I just kind of deal in life and death kind of only because I feel like I really like taxidermy. I in a fucked up way.
Everyone kind of has their own medium within this,
but I also really am awesome at life. I've helped give life to so many things. I as you know, I had to start a whole nursery because my plants are growing like crazy. I can't stop it. Like my plants grow crazy. I can't kill a plant to save my life, and
I can't keep a plant alive. So.
And at the same time, I've helped give birth to so many different. Like I've cared for baby rats. I've cared for so many different infant-like things throughout my whole life, and like, but at the same time, I'm just like, I'm terrified of death. For myself, I'm terrified of death, but I also really love dead things. And I feel like you're very much like all of the stories, all of the love, all of the good in between.
This is why. I will explain to you why.
Yeah, please.
There's a reason. It's because, believe it or not, I used to think that things like this were the fakest thing in the whole universe. I didn't believe in any of it, and it was with my abuser that I learned about these things, but I didn't learn from them inherently from him. He had a friend who is still my friend to this day. You know who you are, and I love you very much. And all that you've done for me and the support that you've given me, seriously, you know who you are. He taught me a lot of things. And within being in my abuse, there wasn't a lot that I could do. There wasn't a lot of people I could talk to. I wasn't allowed to talk to people. I was literally a slave to someone. I wasn't allowed to do literally anything for myself. I had someone attached to me 24/7 who wasn't even attached to my side.
You're like pointing at me. It's like, I didn't do it. I just want to point that out.
They were attached in front of me. I didn't have my own person. I wasn't a person. And
I was there for at least a little bit. And also at the end.
Yeah. And this person that I'm talking about, his friend, was someone who, when my abuser did invite him around, it was someone that I knew that I could be safe in their presence. I felt safe and I felt calmed, and he would talk to me and approach me like I was a person and like I mattered. And he noticed things about me that I never noticed about me. And in a way, this person kind of proved to me the existence of magic in so many different forms. And the way that I viewed God and religion changed so drastically. And this whole new view was in front of me. And you know what's so crazy is that journey started before I ever started doing hallucinogenics. And anyone who knows me knows that my drug of choice is hallucinogenics. And it's been 5 years.
I really wish that I could do that. I
can't do it anymore because I'm addicted to it.
I don't know. That just really sucks, because I know that I have a lot of people, including you, that say that, even some of my family who say that, like, it's changed their lives, it helps, microdosing helps, doing this helps. I can't because of my abuse and the bad trip that I had. I can barely get drunk without freaking out because of that.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that you were able to get something good out of it. As fucked up as that sounds.
Well, all I really had was, I was in a psychosis the whole time that I was being abused. And the reason for that was because my abuser was schizophrenic. Obviously, there's hallucinogenics involved later on. But, it was an escape. I was in a psychosis. So I created an entire reality in my head, and that's where I lived. And that reality bled through into my day-to-day life. And, you know, I was in a different city, but I felt like I was on a different planet. And I have been cleared of being in a psychosis. Don't worry, y'all. But it was something...
They're all over here worried.
It was something I struggled with for a long time. And maybe in one episode I can talk about being in a psychosis and what that actually feels like. Because there's a lot of people who try to say that they're in a psychosis. And it's like, if you're sitting here telling me right now you're in a psychosis, you're not in a psychosis.
Yeah.
And that's a whole entire episode right there. But it was something that when I was able to do hallucinogenics, it fueled the escape for me. And the thing is that I had access to both acid and mushrooms. And acid is, I mean, obviously I took whatever my abuser let me take. Whatever he gave me, I had to take. But when it came to my own personal experience, I found that in a dangerous way, I preferred LSD because it morphed my reality so much that I couldn't think. It's the only substance I've ever been on in my life where I wasn't here anymore. I wasn't anywhere. I didn't exist anymore. And that was me on acid. I could literally see worlds colliding, and that's all it was.
Do you think that magic is partially things like that, like trips, because I know that when you take, especially DMT.
Oh yeah, I did DMT too. Oh my god.
It opens a certain part of your brain, and everyone has that part in them.
I smoked DMT as acid was hitting me.
That's horrible.
So
That's like the worst choice.
A DMT trip lasts 5 minutes. I was basically frying on DMT my entire acid trip. Because of the way hallucinogenics work. I totally forgot about that until you just said that right now.
Oh, I'm so glad I opened that back up.
Being on DMT was one of the most angelic things I can ever possibly... I don't even have the words for DMT. I really don't. But,
we are not endorsing drug use. I want to point that out. We are not.
No, we're definitely not. Don't do this. Don't do these things. These are things that I did when my life was shit, and it was an escape. And I currently do not do any of these things. And I currently stay away from these things because I know that I have problems with them. Make choices like that.
I'm glad that somebody was able to open that for you. And like I said, as shitty as that sounds, I'm glad that you found.
Well, despite the crappy situation, mushrooms are the one thing that I can say improved upon me.
Yeah.
Instead of being like a drug that like it didn't do anything like that.
You definitely became a nicer person. You were not nice as a child. I still stuck around your ass though, but was not.
It completely changed my perception of everything when I started doing mushrooms. And I don't mean like, oh, I had one trip and it changed my world. I took mushrooms for about a year.
My mother has. I've seen people on trims, including my mother, and they just always seem so happy, and I could never.
It just makes you happy.
I could never. It's hilarious though. She is something completely different on like in a good way. It's more funny than anything. But you know, my mom is very open to a lot of different things because she grew up in the 70s, the 80s, you know, shit like that. But she's the one that opened, I guess, my magic. She doesn't believe in magic. She believes in God and Christianity. But she has this thing that I also have, and I don't know if you have. I don't think I've ever asked you. It's called a cumin, and it's she says it's God's will, which is perfectly fine. It's the knowing. It's like the knowing. It's like if somebody calls you and says, "Hey, where is this?" You know exactly where it's at. And I've had people ask me all the time, "Hey, where is that?" And I can see it in my brain, and I know where it's at. Well, like for example, when my aunt got in a car crash, I had a huge wave of cumin for 2 months, 3 months.
I do have that, but it's only with people that are very close to me.
Oh, really?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't have that. I have to have a very deep connection with someone to be able to even have that, but also...
I mean, that makes more sense, though.
It's not something I've ever tried to develop.
Gotcha.
At the same time.
My aunt, the 3 months before her car crash that killed her for a little while, she's okay now.
You said, I'm so sorry, you said it killed her and then she's okay now.
It did. It killed her for a few seconds. She died for a few minutes. And I will tell you what she saw, because it pertains to this.
I know somebody else who died for a little while.
Yeah, but I had this heavy feeling and this gross feeling, and I was puking like every other day, and I wasn't pregnant, obviously, but I just felt like shit, and I was crying, and I was depressed for 2 months, and I didn't know what it was, and then I got in a car crash, and then I remember as they pulled me into the ambulance, because I domed my head, I started the windshield, I went flying a little bit because I didn't have my seatbelt on. That was on me. But as they were getting me into the ambulance, I literally said this wasn't it. And the person who was with me was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "This wasn't that feeling." And they looked nervous. And then my aunt got in the car crash, and it caved in her chest. It broke so many bones. It fractured so many parts of her skull. Like, it was horrible. And she said that when she passed, that she saw Gabriel, God's right-hand man, but she also doesn't quite believe in God. She believes in a sort of way that we do, but she really heavily leans on Gabriel. She saw Gabriel and a bunch of different angels, and she said that she saw an alien. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know what she means. I feel like I would have to have this conversation with her again. But
this is very interesting.
Yes, she swears that she saw an alien, and there are accounts of, there's even an account in Oregon where this man was taken by an alien, and his friends like all passed a test, like they got exiled, like they got treated like crap, so like they didn't have any win to lie and say that there were aliens, because it actually destroyed their lives to say that. So who's to say that like aliens aren't God? I'm terrified of aliens personally. They seem terrifying to me, but I'm terrified of the unknown. But my aunt has the Akumen, I have Akumen, my mom has Akumen. A lot of people in my family have it, and we have it to such an extreme extent. Like my aunt called my mom one time and was like, "Hey, my coworker can't find his keys." And my mom said, "Okay, it's on top of the my mom's never met this person before in her life. She said, "Okay, it's on top of his green cabinet, between the cabinet and the wall." And he went home.
See, that's next level.
And he found it. And my mom swears that when she reads the Bible, that it gets better. And it does. So I don't know if that's all connected, if God's an alien. I don't know about any of that stuff. I just know we have this weird, almost sick knowing, and it hurts. And I don't know why. They're always just like, it's so cool. It sucks. And
it does. It feels like dread. It feels like fucking dread.
And everyone's like, you just have an anxiety. No. I remember when we used to live at that one place. It was a horrible place. The landlords were super rude. And I remember me and you, we sat outside and we sat down and we looked out, and I was like, we're going to move soon, aren't we? And you literally said, yeah, we are. And you were like, I have a feeling. And I was like, me too. And then we went to check the mail together, and we got the notice that we needed to move. So you definitely have it. But I feel like I wasn't ever like, oh, this time, this person, this.
Yeah.
When it comes to this stuff, I was just kind of born into it.
Do you want to know this?
In a different way.
This person that I know that died and came back. You want to know what she said she saw? Absolutely fucking nothing.
Huh.
Absolutely nothing. She saw nothing.
Did you say that when people die, the part of their brain that like lights up when you take DMT, they say that that's what you see before you die?
She said, what she told me was that to her, it was like she fell asleep, except for it was the feeling of never waking up. And then she woke up.
That's so wild.
That is terrifying. I don't want to die ever.
I don't want it to be nothing. That's what I'm terrified of. But my aunt says that she left her body. She met angels and an alien, and she even said that she was walking, and she was walking towards almost like a picnic, and it felt like a birthday party, and people were there to greet her, and it's like she felt loved, and they were like, come here, and she was like, no, I can't. They were like, what? She goes, I gotta go back. And she said that she saw her family, because her daughter was holding her and trying to wake her up, because she was done. She was trying to wake her up, she's trying to do everything that she could, and she said that she saw that, and then she had a big painful gasp of air and came back.
So that's someone that's not going to die until the world is ready for them to die.
She has this whole story about everyone that she met, and like this whole scenery and all this other stuff. And then there's this other person that says that she saw nothing. I know that there are some kids who die and they say that they seen God and that he looks completely different. And I know that there's this one little girl who drew God similar-ish, but not. I mean, he was darker. He had short hair. He had different colored eyes. Like, he looked different.
Have you ever read the story of the egg of the universe?
I hate that theory.
Well, I don't care if you hate it. We're gonna read it at some point.
Is it the thing where it's like you are me and I am you? We're just at different points of the universe?
Yeah, I don't believe in it, but I think it's very interesting.
Oh, okay. I do think it's interesting, and I do think it's cool. I just think it's not. I don't think it's plausible.
Personally, I believe in reincarnation. So.
I mean, I'm sure that's the egg theory is different though. It's like saying that you are.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't believe in that theory. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
But I do believe in reincarnation.
I definitely believe it's interesting. I just, a lot of people that I've met who are shitty people believe in it. And I feel like that's their way of being like, I can be ultimate good. When they're not. And I feel like it's a scapegoat. Although other people can have their opinions, they could be mad at me, that's fine. I don't believe in egg theory, and if that brings you comfort, that is totally okay. But do not use it as a scapegoat. Do not use God as your scapegoat. Do not use magic, medicine. It doesn't matter.
Don't use anything as your scapegoat.
To be a shitty person.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be a better person next life. You're not going to be a good person in heaven or hell.
If you're a shitty person, you need to focus on being a better person right the hell now for the people that are in your life that actually care about you before you lose literally everything.
Yeah, because what if there's nothing? And that was it, and that's how you spent your life? So, don't be an ass, and don't let it lean on your stuff. Because I know when I do my taxidermy and stuff, people think that I'm gross and disgusting. I do it with the utmost care. Like, the utmost care and
It's
love.
because in a way you're honoring them.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah.
That's
I
how
mean,
a
you
lot
saw
of
me do
that's
it.
how
I
a
was
lot
very
of natives
gentle
feel.
and well, yeah, I am. I don't want to say this out loud because it sounds so white. I'm a itty bitty little itty bitty. I mean not that little itty bitty, but I am.
I'm Cherokee.
I am part Lakodian, and that's so dumb because we're both white and people are gonna hate us for saying that. But obviously we know that we're white as fuck. We know that.
Okay.
Well, Spanish.
That one guy that I was talking about earlier that helped introduce me into like this crazy cool world. One of the very first things he ever said to me was that he could tell that I was native.
Yeah, there's a certain part, and I know that when certain parts of my father's family, I have talked to them, and they have said like you look just like us because they have more in them than on my mother's side. My mother is white. But
We should probably end this video though.
you are
Because we could talk forever about this kind of thing.
you are right. Maybe we'll do another episode on it.
Probably.
Our next episode though is going to be about Pokemon, and we will wear Pokemon themed things, so it'll be fun.
We're going to talk about the leaks and such for Scarlet and Violet,
There
the
are
rumors.
so many leaks. It's
The
so
rumors
exciting.
surrounding the new evolution. Oh my god, I've been waiting years.
It'll be so exciting.
We're very
I'm so
excited. Okay.
So,
Bye everyone.